IVM.
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to ask everyone for a quick favor. We're running a brand survey right now and would really appreciate it if you could let us know what you think about the advertising on IVM. Go to ivmpodcast.com/survey and do let us know. As part of this, we'll be selecting 10 random participants and sending them some IVM swag, so do fill out those surveys.
Hello and welcome to the Habit Coach podcast. I am Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach. And today in the hot seat, we have Ruchi Patel. And she asks, we've been told that routines and day planning has immense benefits. I'm totally that kind of person. Every hour of the day goes as pre-planned and I never ever get bored of it. My problem is when things go out of my time routine due to others, I get frustrated. Even if the reasons are 100% valid. How to be calm and let go of such situations? Note that I do keep Saturday and Sunday spontaneous so as to cut that mundane effect of the week. All right, Ruchi, that is so fantastic, right? Because you're already following your habits, you're already following your routine. So full marks on that. I'm sure there's so much that we can learn from you on how to manage that. But more importantly, when something comes and throws a spanner in your works, right? Something comes and is completely unexpected, like you said, it's a valid reason. I know why they're doing it, but still it frustrates the life out of me. What you have to learn then is understand that there is a concept called gifted time. Now, gifted time is time that you had not budgeted for, but was gifted to you. Let's say you expected to meet somebody from 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock. Now they're running 10 minutes late. Now, you're getting frustrated because you're saying that 10 minutes is something that is wasted. Instead, what I would think of those 10 minutes as gifted time to you. You otherwise didn't have those 10 minutes in the day, but now suddenly you have 10 minutes. Maybe you wanted to call your mom. Maybe you wanted to call up a friend. Maybe you wanted to quickly book something on Amazon for yourself. Now suddenly you have that time for yourself. If nothing else, you can practice gratitude. You can close your eyes, give yourself a rest. Almost treat that 10 minutes as something spontaneous. Now, I know where the frustration comes. Ruchi, the frustration comes because you are putting so much of an emphasis on your time. You are putting so much of a value on your time. And then you're not expecting, or you're feeling that others don't value the time in the same manner or have the same kind of value systems as you do. Now, that is the brilliance of it. Not everybody has the same value systems as you. Right? Just look at the entire vegetarian, non-vegetarian, vegan debate. Different value systems. That is why everyone's fighting each other. But to understand that you can see what is happening with compassion. You can thank the person. Whenever somebody is late for a meeting, I always thank them, while they're profusely apologizing, saying, I'm so sorry, I really wanted to make it on time. And you have two options. You can say, yeah, I was waiting for you. Can't you see, you don't have a watch, you don't do this, you don't do that. You can do that and ruin the meeting. Or you can thank them and say, no, don't worry about it. Thank you. I wanted this 10 minutes. You gave it to me. I got this thing done in the meantime. You see, whenever we plan our days in such a tight manner, you have to plan the little wriggle room. Because otherwise we are living robotic lives, right? This thing finishes, that thing finishes, that thing finishes. Instead, we have to live a life that is human in nature. And humans are fallible. And that's the reason why even when the third golden rule of habits is never miss 2 days in a row. You can miss 1 day in a row with a habit because life comes in the way sometimes, right? Somebody falls sick, you have to go for a party, this happens, that happens. But if you continue with that, it's okay, life came in the way, then it becomes a problem. And if you don't give in that amount of attention to it and say, no, I have to be rigid, then again, it's a problem. You have to learn how to see this as a blessing, not as a curse. And Ruchi, if you manage to do this, you will see a big difference in your life. So guys, there's so much that we can learn from what Ruchi has just asked. How do we get out of the plan that we have and embrace change when it happens? Then once change happens, how do we reprogram change in a positive manner? The positive manner here is saying that it is gifted time. How do we then look at change with completely different eyes? And because now we're seeing them with completely different eyes, it is no longer a problem. It is no longer tension. It is no longer something that we have to stress about, shout about, freak out about, get angry about. Because remember, all anger comes from fear, all fear comes from loss. Now, what it is that you are worried that you're going to lose, Ruchi? Is it your time? Is it the seriousness that you give your time? Is it something else that you plan to do with somebody else, which is what this current situation is going to cut into? What is it that is causing this trouble? And if you get an answer to that, you can solve this problem. Lovely. If you want to get featured on the next Hot Seat episode, don't forget to check out the link below in the podcast. Fill up a form, give me as many details of what it is that you have in mind, and I'm going to read it out and answer you on the next episode of the Hot Seat. I'm Ashdin Doctor, your habit coach, and remember, awesome lives, they start with awesome habits. If you like this podcast, don't forget to check out other interesting podcasts on the IVM network. You can listen to us on the IVM Podcast app or ivmpodcast.com. You can also follow us on social media. We are at IVM Podcasts on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to reach out to me, I am Ashdin Doc on Twitter and Instagram. You can find lots more information on my website, awesome180.com, or check out different content on my YouTube channel called AWESOME180. That's Awesome 180.
Hey everybody, it's been a great week on the IVM Podcast Network. On the Edges and Sledges Cricket Podcast, Aswin, DJ and Varun talk about Virat Kohli's shocking announcement about giving up the Indian T20 and RCB captaincy. And they review the opening match of the IPL between the Mumbai Indians and Chennai Super Kings. On Advertising is Dead, Varun is joined by musicians Hanita Bhambri and Kevin Fernando, along with Arjun Koladi from Spotify to talk about the shifts in the music space. The latest Cadbury ad remix sparks an interesting thought in Siddharth's mind. Is this a hack by advertisers to cut the clutter, or are they running out of content? Join the Simplified gang, Chuck, Naren, Shriketh, and Tony as they discuss why all platforms are trying to be like each other. And on Tere Mere Raste, Keshu takes us to a city known as the rare desert oasis, Bikaner. Do follow us on social media. We're IVM Podcast on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And remember, if you're enjoying this show or any of our other shows for that matter, please do tell a friend. It really does help us. And finally, we'd like to thank our sponsors on the network this week, Cred, Bank of Baroda, Quota, CoinSwitch, Kuber, and Inter vPro. Thank you so much for making this possible.
Remember the days when our granny used to narrate once upon a time stories? Let's bring back the good old days of moral stories with Storytime Tamil. Hi, I am Ravishankar Balachandran, host of Storytime Tamil podcast. I would like you to entertain and educate your children with stories from Storytime Tamil. Tune in to the new episode sharp at 7 p.m. every day on IVM website, IVM podcast app, YouTube channel, or wherever you get your podcast from.